How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping out another video. Right, guys, this is a story in the Daily Mirror, link in the description below like you always do. Headline reads, Monster Mansion, H&P Wakefield, murderer loses it and hospitalises prison officer in a bus stop. Exclusive. Paul Wadkin, 38, is said to have gone berserk at an officer of the Monster Mansion Close Supervision Centre prison in Wakefield, which is a prison within a prison. A jail murderer is alleged to have hospitalised a prison officer in a lunchtime bus stop. Lifer Paul Wadkin, 38, is said to have gone berserk, throwing food and punching a guard on the nose. It is claimed he was restrained and returned to his cell at the Category A Wakefield Prison, West Yorkshire. A source said this was a nasty attack. He completely lost it over a trivial matter and launched himself at the officer. The killer was in the closed supervision order, a jail within the jail that holds 8 of the most dangerous lags at Wakefield, dubbed Monster Mansion. Police are investigating the alleged attack by Wadkin, who knifed fellow lag Darren Flynn, 46, 190 times at a jail in Kent in 2015. Wadkin aided in the attack by another con, then told an officer, "There's a dead body in my cell." He'd been serving an indeterminate sentence for wounding, but was issued a minimum of 30 years behind bars after the murder. Police are investigating the attack on the officer, who was treated for severe bruising. A spokesman said, "This is appalling. We will push for the toughest punishment, 12 months more behind bars." Now, when he was already, right, this prisoner guy's got nothing to lose yet, to be honest with you. So he was already on an IPP sentence, so indeterminate public protection, or in prison for public protection. On top of that, he's gone on to murder a prisoner behind bars when he was down at a jail in Kent. So he's got a 30-year minimum tariff. Oh no, it doesn't say, 30-year minimum tariff, plus he's already IPP'd off. He's got nothing to lose at all. Now, like I say, guys, you see these attacks and stuff, right? And they say, oh, he's lost it over a trivial thing, but what's the history with that prison officer? Right? Some prisoners do lash out for no reason at officers, and I don't condone attacks on officers, but sometimes the officer has it coming. That's a very real reality. Some prison officers like to antagonise prisoners, they like to wind prisoners up. And if they see a prisoner and he might have mental health issues, or he might have learning difficulties, or they might see a weakness in him, they can target that individual. And like I say, certain prison officers like to goad you. So when you kick off, they get to twist you up and fuck you up. But like I say, he could have very easily lashed out for no apparent reason. Like I say, I'm not condoning attacks on officers, because I've got to be careful what I say in these videos. But I completely understand why attacks on officers happen and take place. Sometimes it's for every action there is a reaction. Sometimes it's the prison officer that twists the lad up in another incident. The prisoners have got long memories. They wait, they bide the time, and then they isolate that officer and then they target him. It's a very real situation. Like I say, he's serving, like I say, he was already IPP'd off, right? So, like I say, what's happening with IPP prisoners in the system, guys, is disgusting. It's state-sponsored murder, to be honest. If you look at a lot of these prisoners that are taking their own lives, a lot of them are IPP. There's around, I think, just short of 4,000 still in the system. Now, IPP prisoners, the sentence itself was abolished in 2012, but not retrospectively, which means there are many prisoners still in the system that are IPP'd off with no release date, right? If you're, let's say you are, I don't know, Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, right? He knows he's going to die in prison. He got a whole life tariff. Rose West knows she's going to die in prison. She's got a whole life tariff, right? Then people know they're never going to be eligible for parole. They'll never leave prison. If you've got a 30-year minimum tariff, you know that you're not going to be eligible for parole for at least to your minimum of 30 years, and then you've got to go before the parole board. And it's very, very rare that a prisoner gets out on his first before going for the parole board before the first time. Like I say, if you're serving 5 years, you're doing 2.5. So everyone, what the point is, people know where they stand and what's happening with them. IPP prisoners simply don't know. They wake up every morning not knowing if they're going to be released. Like I say, they go for the parole, they get knocked back, and then it must be so frustrating and angry and stuff, and frustrating for them. Like I say, a lot of these prisoners are losing the will to live in prison, and a lot of them just can't take it anymore and seek suicide as a way out, which is tragic. Some are self-harmers, some attempt suicide, some sadly carry suicides out. I don't understand how you can abolish your sentence and then not retrospectively For me, if I was in charge of the Ministry of Justice, I would free all them IPP prisoners in one sweep. I would release a lot of them. Like I say, they just, I feel so sorry for them, waking up every day not knowing when you're going to be released. There's no light at the end of the tunnel there. And you might have the best family support network and best missus in the world. You're still going to go through the mire. Now, like I say, with Paul Wadkin, the prisoner that I'm referring to here, you can see a picture at the start. He's got nothing to lose and stuff like that. He's really, really not. And he's probably going to be institutionalised now anyway, which obviously prisoners become institutionalised, the better off they prefer. Like, they're being in prison, the more sufficient in prison they are out of prison. And like I say, it's not a good thing that, unfortunately, guys, in this country, we have got an attitude where it's lock them up and throw away the key and forget about them. Prison isn't there to respond to society's emotion, and what society needs to remember, that 99% of prisoners, unless serving a whole life tariff, are going to be reintroduced into society at some point. And it's how we treat them whilst they're in prison that will dictate and determine how they act upon release. And like I say, he's obviously classed as dangerous because he's in the close supervision centre, which, like I say, it's a jail within a jail. He's obviously a Cat 8 prisoner, and there's only 8 of them on the wing and stuff like that. Prison guys, innit? I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think about the story, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.